Hi everyone, my name is Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you find something that you like. So today is a Flosstube episode, which means that Flosstube is about cross stitching. So this is all of my cross stitching that I have been doing since I last updated you guys. Today is currently Sunday, November 24th, and I last talked with you guys 3 weeks ago. So I have a lot to show. I have, I believe, about 14 fully finished items. So I have a lot. I have some whips. I have a new start. I have a lot here on my plate, on the table. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So the first one, let's go start with this. This is Pumpkins for Sale by Stitching with the Housewives. This is stitched on a 28 count T-dye Monaco with the called for DMC. And I finished this on sticky board. And then this fabric is a from the line Coriander Colors by Coriander Quilts by Corey Yoder. And then I just finished this with a bow, a little twine bow, and then a wooden pumpkin. And this is on a magnet, so I can just pop these on and off and interchange them with the season if I so wished. So that is my first FFO. My second one is Santa's Skate Shop by Stitching with the Housewives. So I stitched this on a 14 count black Aida with the called for DMC. The finishing item is a piece from Hobby Lobby. This is what it originally looked like. It has the word Mary on it. And I used that as a like leveraging point for my sticky board for my backing. This is the same black from Coriander Colors, and this is a blue from the same line. This skate is a separate piece that I hot glued on, and the greenery and the round is what is, with the Mary is what is the piece. And again, that's Santa's Skate Shop by Stitching with Housewives. Okay. Up next, let me show this. So this is two items that I had previously finished that I FFO'd. This is Hello Honey by Stitching with the Housewives. It is a roundabout. And I finished this on some sticky board with some fabric that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then this one is Busy Bee Honey by Stitching with the Housewives. And this is finished it the same way. These are both stitched on a 28 count white Monaco that I tea-dyed Kelly green. And I used the called for Classic Colorworks actually. And this is a piece, this is what the item looks like. I got it from Hobby Lobby. This is the item. But this is, once I finish all four of them, I gotta stitch the other two, but once I finish all four, this will go into our bedroom. All right, that's two more finishes that I had done. Let's see here. Okay. And I want to show you guys what my other finishes are. So my other finishes are in my dough bowl, and this is what my dough bowl looks like. Oh, here we go. So this is what it looks like currently. Isn't it so cute? I love it. I am obsessed with it. So I'm going to set this down and I'm going to start grabbing and we'll go through each piece one by one. All right, up first I have these two items, which are from Stay Platinum Stitchery on Etsy. This is part of a trio, hold on, losing them, of designs that I had done. And I had previously stitched them and I had finished them on the weekend of November 8th. That weekend was FFO weekend, which I had heard about from, I think it was Michelle from Bendy Stitchy Designs. And on that weekend, I finished 11 items. And these two were part of the 11. So this one was one that I had done previously, but this one is part of the trio. And this is the candy corn popsicle that is stitched on a 14 count black Aida and candy corn for the backing. This is a jack-o'-lantern ice cream cone, 14 count white Aida, and then a Sunday cauldron that I modified because I had messed up, and that is stitched on a 14 count white Aida as well. Another piece that I had previously done that I finished that weekend was Sunflower Seeds by Stitching with the Housewives. This is stitched on a 14 count black Aida with the called for DMC. Finished it with some rickrack around the edging. And then this is what the back looks like. And all of these pillows are stitched with polyfill, and then some of them are stitched with pellets, and I'll tell you which ones are not stitched, filled with pellets, and I'll tell you which ones are. This next one is Falls for Football by Stitching with the Housewives. This one was a previous new start that I had finished. And I stitched this with on a 28 count T-dye Monaco with the called for DMC. And this is what the back looks like. I had to represent my Cincinnati Bengals. This next one is Game Day by Stitching with the Housewives. These two are essentially they are roundabouts that I finished as squares for my pillows. And this one was a new start. I did bangles on the back as well. This is a 28 count T-dye Monaco with the called for DMC. Up next, I have Valentine Sam by the Witchy Stitcher. Stitched on 14 count black Aida with the called for DMC. I followed the Vanna Pfeiffer tutorial on YouTube. I will link that down below. That was super easy for me to follow. As you can tell, it's a little wonky. It was my first one, but I'm very happy with how it came out. Very happy with it. To give it some stability, some weight to it, I put draper weights on the bottom of it. I hot glued some weights on the bottom so that way it stands up on its own and doesn't tip over accidentally. And then the bottom I've hot glued some rickrack on. You can tell I hot glued it, but that's okay. This is just for me. It was my first one. I'm super happy with it. This is what the bottom looks like. All right. Up next, I have Boo by Hello from Liz Matthews. This is stitched on a 32 count vintage country Lugana. And the floss is a conversion that I did completely myself. This has both polyfill and pellets in it to give it some weight to it. The backing is a Joanna Figueroa fabric. And then I used some chenille on the sides of it. I just glued that down all around. And I love how this turned out. Up next, I have Joy by Needle Lot Designs. Needle Bling Designs. That's what it is. Needle Bling Designs, Joy. And I stitched this on a 28 count white Monaco that I not tea-dyed. I just dyed myself. I believe this is, I want to say aquamarine, maybe? But this was a new start for me that I had done in the past actually week, and I finished this on let's see, I told you what I stitched it on. This is a stash conversion DMC, and I also want to show you I did my first lazy daisy stitch right here, and it turned out beautifully. And of course the camera is not going to focus on it, but it turned out beautiful. Just take my word for it. And then I put a little charm that I had that says joy. And then this is what the backing looks like. The fabric is a fabric I had got from Hobby Lobby, and then I just glued two little designs over the back of it where I had hand stitched it closed. And then I did some pom-pom trim on the side that I just got from Dollar Tree. And this one was super easy to do. I really enjoyed it. Up next from the same designer, I have Santa Moon. This is stitched on a 14 count Fiddler's Ada with a called for DMC. Or did I do a stash conversion? I might have done a stash conversion DMC, but it used DMC nonetheless. And I just finished this with trim around the side. And then this is what the back looks like. This was just a white fabric I had from my stash, and I had glued two embellishments on the back where I had hand stitched it closed as well. All right, and then my last pillow that I have is Give Thanks by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This was also a new start for me, and I stitched this on a, it is a 32 count, and let me feel it. It's a 32 count Lugana, I believe. I believe it's the same. Is that the same one? It might be Vintage Country Mocha Lugana. The same one. I'm not quite sure. But I started this one as well. This was a new start. Used a called for DMC with it. And I finished this into a pillow. This has pellets in it as well. That's what the back looks like, where I hand stitched it closed. I need some embellishments to put over that. I just don't have any fall-y embellishments. I just need something to put over that. But then I wrapped a piece of twine around it that I got from Hobby Lobby, put a little bow in it, and that's Give Thanks by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I'm not sure if I said this was part of their Free Stitch Friday newsletter that they are doing the first Thursday of every month for the Friday after. You're supposed to stitch it that Friday. Something fun that they're doing that I appreciate. All right, and that, everybody, is my dough bowl pillows. So those were all of my finishes that I had done. My fully finishes, that is. Okay. So up next, I have new starts. So let's get into that. So the first new start I have is, what is this pattern? It is a round robin I am doing, Carolyn Manny round robin, with Beck from Beck Stitches Everything, Jill from Stitch and Books, and Jen from Jen's Fiberweb. And this is Beck's piece. And I forget what it's called. I'll put it down here though. But this is where I am. This is her quadrant. And then this is mine. So all together right now, I probably am sitting at about 550 stitches into it. So not a whole lot. I believe each quadrant has about 2,500 stitches. So I still got a long ways to go. But I worked on this for a little bit throughout the week, trying to get some progress on it. We don't have a date yet on when we're scheduled to have this completed by. I think we're all scheduled shooting for, I should say, December. I know I'm shooting for December 7th as a personal goal to have my quadrant done, so I got to get on that. But this is my section of the round robin, and it's coming along really good. I'm working mainly on the greens, and I'm trying to touch on the other colors as I come by to them. That was the only new start I have that was not a finish recently. So up next, I have my whips. So my first whip is... Let me put this needle away. My first whip is December Monthly Weighin by Stitching with the Housewives. This is where it was the last time I had worked on it and the last time I had showed you, which I can't even remember the last time that was. So this is where I am now. So I have worked a lot on this the past couple days. I have filled in this blue, finished the Santa. Let me zoom in a little closer. Finished the Santa and the reindeer up a little bit. Worked on the blue, came down to the scale, and I'm filling in the scale during working. And then I moved on to the tree, and I'm filling that in kind of as I go. And I have the beginning of the gingerbread. The little bow right here that I'm going to work on. So this was actually this is my second attempt at doing it. My first attempt, I completely messed up the garland up here and I had to completely scratch it. This is my second go at it, and I actually messed up the inside of the scale. Basically the whole scale, this whole bottom scale is messed up. It's my version of it, of what my mess up fix. So I am missing some stitches. I filled in stitches where other stitches should be, and I just kind of went with it, basically. My ring light just died, so that's what that light was. So let me finish this up and then I'll fix that in a minute. So yeah, but basically that's it on this one. This is December Monthly Weighin. I hope to get this done within the next week, so that way I can FFO it and display it in my house. So let me fix that ring light, and then I'll be right back to show the rest of my whips. All right, thank you guys for bearing with me for a second. Now, my next whip that I have is Houses on Pumpkin Lane by Pansy Patch Stitchery and Quilts, something like that. But this is where I was last time, and this is where I am. This is the pumpkin house. So I filled in basically the house and worked on that. I did about 500 stitches over the course of about 2 days. I would love to do more progress on this. It just takes a lot of time. I love how it's turning out though. Love it. I love working on this. I just don't work on it too often. This is the first time I've worked on this in months. But this is a lot of fun to do. And again, this is Pumpkin House, Houses on Pumpkin Lane. I'm stitching this on a 18 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. This is what it looks like. And I'm doing it all as one big piece. So it's going to be a 3 by 3. So all 9 houses on one big piece. All right, up next I have Silla Witches by Teresa Kogut. And this is where I am. This is stitched on a 40 count linen. I believe it's called Country Straw, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember who it's by. I want to say Weeks Dye Works, but I'm not quite sure. And I'm using, for the floss, I'm using for this color is Sticks and Twigs by Classic Colorworks. And then for the greens, it's Evie's Leaves by Classic Colorworks. My needle is from Mad for Minders. I worked on this a little bit over the over Halloween, and I actually worked on this over Halloween, forgot to show it in my last video, worked on it just a little bit so that way I could show it in this video specifically. So this got some extra love on it a little bit, not too much. I probably only did about 300 stitches on it, and kind of worked on this right here. I did the candle, worked right here in this area, and then filled in the rest of the witch up here. Up next, I have We're Made for Each Other by the Witchy Stitcher. This is where it was the last time. This one didn't get a lot of progress, but this is where I am now. So I mainly worked on the ear of Frankenstein over here. That's what I worked on. So like I said, not a lot of progress, but I like to show everything that I touch. And I did touch this for a little bit during work, so want to show it off. This is stitched on a 28 count Mirage. And then I'm using the called for DMC. Needle minders from Mad for Minders. And this is by the Witchy Stitcher. All right. And then my last whip I have is The Friend by Needle Lot Designs. This is where it was the last time that I showed it. If I have a photo, that is. And then this is where I am now. So since last seeing it, I have worked on these greens section. The greens are, I wanted to get into the frog and work on that, so that's what I did. This is stitched on a 18 count Aquamarine Ada that I dyed myself using the called for DMC. I'm stitching this for my best friend. Their frogs are their favorite and they're my friend. So I felt that this was very fitting for them. And I'm going to finish this as kind of like a tarot card with a back and front on it. In my head, it looks really cool. I just have to execute it. So that's going to be a lot of fun to do. This is a lot of fun to stitch on too, by the way. All right. And that was, let me look. That was all of my stitching that I had done. So if you just came for the stitching, thank you so much for sticking around. This is where I leave you, again, thank you so much for coming. And I have just the tiniest bit of haul, so I want to show that real quick before I talk about some upcoming plans. So haul that I have, I placed a Be Stitch Me order because I was actually working on my Away We Ride piece, which is what I am stitching it on is a 30 count Confederate Gray, which is now called Gray, linen by Weeks Dye Works, and with the called for DMC. I'm not going to show it right now because I am restarting it completely. The linen was way too loose for the fibers for me. It was making my stitches look really tight even though they weren't, and it was just pulling the linen. I was just really afraid that everything was just gonna like kind of like rip and fall apart, and it was very hard to work with as well. I worked with it in a hoop, I worked with it on a Q-snap. I worked with it in hand. I physically could not work with it no matter what I tried. I gave it an honest go, and I'm just leaving it at that. I'm going to unstitch everything that I did on it, which is not a lot, but I worked a lot. I worked very hard on it because it was a hard piece for me to start, because of how the fabric was. So it was a hard piece to start and get going. So it's hard for me to rip all of that out. But once I do, I'm going to throw that linen into a giveaway section. So that way I can give that away later in time. But for the meanwhile, I did pick up another fabric for it, another linen. This is, which one is it? This is a 32 count sand dollar Lugana by Stitch Me that I picked up. And this is what I'm going to use for my Away We Ride piece instead. And I'm very excited about this. So even though it's not Halloween anymore and we're coming up on Christmas and I want to stitch all of the Christmas things, I'm going to be good and wait at least until the spring to get going on my Away We Ride piece again. So that's what I bought for that. And then it can't travel alone. So of course I had to buy some other items. And Stitch Me was just so happened to having a neutrals weekend. And I picked up a 32 count honey linen. And then I picked up a 36 count ledger. And this is just really pretty. I have no idea what I'm going to use these other two for, but it can't travel alone. And then I placed a order to Black Dollia Fabrics on Etsy. And I got a piece of Mystery Ada. That's what it looks like. This is called Gloucester Serpent. I got some floss. I got, this is the Aliens Among Us floss, species 4987, I believe. This is 1298. 1G color. And then 731. A neon green. And then 8361. So I got a couple of those to use. And then she had made these Cryptic floss drops. And I want to share some of my favorites. I got I got all of them. There's a set of 15. I got all of them, but these are my favorites. The Jersey Devil. We got Nessie, Bigfoot, Mothman, Skinwalker, Abominable Snowman, and then Kraken. Aren't those so cute? She posted them on Instagram and I was like, I blacked out and just added them to my cart. I really did. But I had to buy them because they were just so cute. So, and then I have my other sets of them too. So that was that. And then I also ended up getting from Lindy Stitches the 2025 Book of Days. I am hoping to keep up with this. This is what it looks like on the inside. Just a calendar. And I'm going to put my stitching on it each day that I do. And I'm hoping that I can keep up with it. I really am. I don't tend to write down my stitching each day. So I'm hoping that next year, that's one of my goals, is to write down my stitching each day, so that way at the end of the year I can see what I worked on, what common themes are, and everything like that. So that's what I plan to do. And then my aunt ended up going to the library, and they were getting rid of books, so she got me 2 of these books, Christmas portraits from Leisure Arts Presents Christmas Remembered, and then I got Holidays Remembered. So I flipped through these. There's a lot of projects that I actually really like in these, and if you want to flip through them, just let me know, and that is something that I can film if that shows enough interest in everyone. So just let me know. All right, and that is actually all that I have to show. So thank you so much for tuning in to another channel. Before I go, I actually just wanted to touch base with you guys real quick. So I actually just recently hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for continuing to stick around with my inconsistent schedule, my constant rambling, getting sidetracked on things, continuing to stick around. I really appreciate each and every like, comment, subscriber, all of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And every time I get a new subscriber, I get so giddy and so excited. And each time I get a new comment on my video, I read it out loud to my husband. I get so excited. So please, if you want to comment, please comment. I read all of them. My husband hears all of them. And then if you want to, if you like what you see, please make sure you like the video. It helps me out. And make sure that you subscribe, which helps me out as well. So thank you guys so much. I might have another giveaway here soon to celebrate 500 subscribers. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, and I forgot to talk about plans. So with it being the end of November, I'm just trying to kind of get the rest of my my fall stitching done. I'm trying to get squeeze in as much as I possibly can. And then come December 1st, not only are we putting up our Christmas tree here at the house, but we are also, I'm also going to be doing a whole bunch of holiday stitching. I have 3 Christmas whips that I'm going to work on. Actually, I think I have 4. I have 3 or 4 Christmas whips that I'm going to work on constantly throughout the month. I'm going to work on my round robin within the next like 2 weeks. Try to get that done. And then just kind of some fun stitching in between is what my goal is. I want to fill up this dough bowl with a whole bunch of cross stitch Christmas pillows this year. So just, you might be seeing a lot more pillows from me in the next upcoming weeks. So I now think that is officially all that I have. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another Flosstube for me. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I hope you guys have a most fantastic day. Thank you guys. Bye.